Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I am going to teach you how to make this beautiful fitted gown with a built up neckline and a flare sleeve. Okay, so keep watching. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe, like, share and comment on my videos. Let's get started making this beautiful piece. The first thing we're going to do is to cut out the skirt part, which I will start by cutting out the salvage end of the material, which is not needed. And once I'm done cutting it off, I am going to place my tape by removing the upper bodice of the gown, which is we are going to start by at 17 inches. So 17 inches is the upper bodice of the gown, so we can determine the skirt part of the gown. So I am going to stop at 44 inches. Okay, so 44 is going to be my full length, but I will add extra 1 inch, making it 45 as an allowance, folding allowance. Okay, so that's what I'm doing there. So next we are going to, after adding the 1 inch extra allowance, we are going to determine the hip point. Here is the waist point, here is the hip point. So we'll be needing the waist point, the hip point and the full length. So on my waist point, I'm going to divide my waist circumference divide by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. And on my hip, I'm going to divide my hip circumference divide by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. Then on my knee length, because I want it to be very penciled, so I will remove 1.5 inch from my hip length and without a seam allowance. Then I'm going to curve it. So as you can see, it's very penciled. So I'm going to cut out right now. So after cutting it out, we are going to fold the back piece using an allowance of 1 inch for the zip allowance. So we are going to mark down an allowance of 1 inch, and we are going to mark a straight line. Then I'm going to place my front piece starting from the allowance that I make. So I'm cutting out the salvage end of the material, it's not needed. So I'm going to place my front piece on the back piece, stopping at the end of the allowance I made. I'm going to cut out right now. So once I'm done cutting out, this is what we have. We have both the front and back piece of the skirt here. So next thing we're going to do now is to cut out the upper bodice of the gown. So folding the fabric, the first thing we're going to do is to come down by 2 inches because it's a built up neckline. So we're going to have an allowance at the neck area. So coming down by 2 inches, I'm going to start from the line that I marked. So I will mark 17 inches. That's 17 inches that we marked out from the skirt. That is what we are going to mark now. So marking the 17 inches, I'm going to, which is the length of the top, I'm going to mark my bust point, which is at 10 inches. And next thing I'm going to mark is my under bust point, which is 13 inches, and my chest point, which is 8 inches. Your chest point is always 2 inches above your bust point. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to divide my shoulder circumference by 2. We have 8, and I'm going to mark it down. And I'm going to use that 8 inches down to my chest point. So I'm going to mark a straight line on it, and once I'm done, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my neck width, which is 3 inches. There is no need for neck depth here, so I'll extend the 3 inches up to the extension we had. So next thing we are going to do now is to divide come down by 1 inch from the shoulder line, then give it a curve like this. And once I'm done giving it a curve, the next thing is to divide my nipple to nipple circumference by 2, and I'm going to mark 4 inches, not 4.5. I will still reduce it, but if you like, you add 4.5. Then on the underbust 3.5, remove ½ inch from the underbust. So I later marked 4 inches, you see. And on the underbust you go by 3.5, and on the waist you go by 3.5 to give it that curve. That is another way to mark your princess dart. So you divide your armhole circumference divide by 2, then connect it like so. Then you're going to go out by 1 inch from the mark that you had, 1 inch like this, then connect it to the bust point. Then from the armhole you're going to come down by 1 inch and connect from the bust point to the armhole point and extend it by 1.5 inches like so. Then give it a curve. That is your new armhole curve. So the next thing is to put down our measurement. So my waist measurement divide by 4 plus 4 inches seam allowance. My underbust circumference divide by 4 plus 4 inches seam allowance again. Why I added extra 4 inches allowance is because I'm going to join it, and after joining sometimes it will reduce, so that extra allowance is going to help it to give us exactly what we need. So I'll start cutting out the front piece of the upper bodice now. So after cutting out, this is what we had. So next thing we're going to do is to open up the center piece of the front piece, so we can mark the neckline. So we already used an iron to mark out the center piece of the center of the front piece. So I'm going to come down by 8 inches for the depth of the neckline. Then I'll connect the neckline this way. Make sure you leave half an inch at least on both sides of the neckline. Then I'll connect this one to the other side like this, and that is the neckline. We have the neckline. So I'm going to cut it out right now. So after cutting it out, this is what we have, and we keep that aside and we go move over to the back piece. So for the back, we're going to mark our zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inch. And once I'm done marking it, I'll come down by 2 inches for the extension that we already had in the front. We are still going to add it at the back as well. And once we are done, it's time to mark the length of the top, the half length. The half length is 17 inches. My half length is 17 inches. My underbust, which is not necessary for the back, I don't know why I did that, and my bust point and my chest point. So I'm going to divide my armhole my shoulder circumference divide by 2, starting from the 1.5 inch that I marked. That's where you start your measurement. So I'm going to mark 3 inches for the neck width. Then I'll mark my shoulder slope. That I'm going to divide my nipple to nipple circumference by 2. Then I'm going to mark 4 inches on the chest point. Divide by 2. I'll mark it down. Mark it on the bust point, 4 inches on the bust point. I'll minus half inch, which is 3.5 on the underbust and on the waistline. Then I curve it like this. So I will divide my armhole length. I will divide it by 2. I'm going to mark the center of my armhole length. I'll curve it like this. So it's just going to be like this because it's for the back. So I'm going to mark 1 inch like so from the waistline to the underbust, then connect to the bust point. Then I'll put down my measurement like so. Then add extra 4 inches allowance, just like we did for the front. Then we'll connect, add allowance. Then our back piece is ready. So I'm going to cut out now. So after cutting it, we open the back, the center of the back piece, and this is what we have at the end of the day. So we're going to keep this aside and cut the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I am going to cut out the first layer of the sleeve, and the second layer of the sleeve is on 2 layers. So this is the starting point of the sleeve, and the first layer is going to be 19 inches, sorry. I later marked 19 because the 20 inches is too long, so I later reduced it to 19 inches. After measuring my sleeve length, I found out that the 20 inches is too long. I reduced it to 19 inches. So this is the 19 inches which we are going to be making use of. So see me measuring my sleeve length. So guys, because the sleeve is going to be very, very long, it's going to be, the only thing we are going to be seeing is just the tip of your finger. So I'm marking down my armhole space, which is 11 inches. I'm using 11 inches as my armhole opening. Then my arm circumference and the lower arm circumference, I added extra 2 inches allowance to it. That is why it's very big. Then you mark an A-line shape like this, the A-line shape like this. So I'm going to cut it out right now. So this is it, the sleeve is ready. So I'm going to cut out the A-line shape. I'm going to cut it. That one is another one, separate one that we're going to treat, because I'm going to cut out 4 of them. We are going to use it as a lining. We are going to use the fabric as a lining. So we're going to cut out that A-line shape. We're going to cut out 4 of them, 2 on each side. So I'm going to cut out the second sleeve right now. So after cutting out the other side of the sleeve, this is what we have. We have 4 of these, 2 on this one and 2 on this one. We're going to use these two to fold each other. So that is it for the sleeve. So moving on, we are done cutting out the lining and attaching it to the main fabric. So this is what we had after joining the linings. This is the back piece of the skirt, and the other one is the front piece of the skirt. So I'm going to mark where I'm going to stitch right now. So I'm going to go in by 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So, and I'm also going to stitch it through the lines. So I'm pinning it down so that it will be on one piece. So I'm going to go up. Please, it was too much for me. That was the opening of the skirt. That is this opening of the skirt, but I had to just mark 10 inches for the opening because 10 inches is okay. Then that place that I just marked is going to be where I'm going to stitch, and here is my zipper where my zip is going to be fixed. And please, if you want the opening down there, please open it by 10 inches. So I'll keep this aside, and this is the sleeve. See how I joined it. This is the play part of the sleeve. As you can see, I have finished joining it, and this one is the front piece. Look at how beautiful it's coming out. This is the front piece, as you can see. So I'm going to join them this way. This is how I'm going to join my front piece now. After attaching the lining, I'm going to join it like this. This is the front piece. I'm going to join it this way. I'm going to use my pin to hold it so that you guys will see what I'm doing there. I don't trust songs these days. If not, I will just put songs on. I'll just add any music here, because there is nothing to explain here. It's just for you to watch how I am doing it. and that is it. So I'm going to do the same for the other side. So after joining to the other side with the pin, this is what it looks like. So after joining it, this is what you're going to see, and you just use 1/2 inches to join the two sides. That is it. So we're going to do the same for the back. Let me just show you guys everything here. So after joining it, you're going to bring your the skirt part, and you're going to place it like this and stitch it. Find out the center piece of the skirt, notch it, and the center piece of the top, notch it. Then place the two notches together, then stitch it like this. That is what we are going to do for the front piece. And for the back piece, we are going to join them as well. After joining it like this, so after joining the back of the up half length, you bring the down part of the gown, you place it like this, and you run a stitch with 1/2 inch on it like this, and you do the same for the other side this way, and run a stitch on it like this after joining. So that is it for the back piece. Then you attach your zipper. This is what it's going to look like after you're done. Then you attach your zipper, and that is it for the back piece. So let us go to the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I am going to open it up like this, and we attach our flare on it. So we are going to attach our flare like this, pin it down, and you are going to run a stitch like this on the both sides of the sleeve. Then once we are done, I'll come back and show you what it looks like after everything. So after joining, this is what the back looks like. So I'm going to place the front piece on the back piece so we can shape it to our body. I'm going to shape it to my body size right now. On the shoulder circumference, my shoulder circumference is 16 inches. So I had extra 1 inch allowance. I had to divide the 1 inch by 2 on both sides to make sure I have the 16 inches. So I came down for my armhole opening by 8 inches. I came down by 8 inches. After joining, the 8 inches that I marked earlier on went up. So I marked another 8 inches on both sides and curved it again. So for the waist circumference, divide by 2 is 16 and a half inches, and there was extra 4 inches allowance remaining. I divided it on both sides, and I still had the 16 inches. My hip circumference is 21 inches. I had extra 3 inches allowance, and I had to divide that 3 inches, making it 1.5 inch on both sides, and I had to mark it. So I'll connect it down to the full length of the gown. So I'm going to follow the lines when sewing. The lines I just marked now, I'm going to follow through the lines and I'll sew it. So I'm cutting out the excesses now. I'm cutting out the excesses. So when sewing, I'm going to sew through. I think I marked how I'm going to sew it. Okay, so this is how I'm going to sew it. I'm going to sew it like this, then the two sides of the gown like this, and fix these sleeves. I'm going to fix the sleeves, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like at the end of the day. So this is what it looks like after joining everything. This is the sleeve opening, very beautiful. So I'm going to wear it and show you guys what it looks like. And this is what it looks like, guys. So guys, thank you so much for watching. See you all in my next video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, share and comment on my videos. See you all in my next video. Bye.